Hello guys, welcome to my channel once again. So I'll be teaching you on how to make trousers like this. I'll be showing you the pattern drafting on how to achieve trousers like this, and I hope after today you will not have issues with trousers and you'll be able to make trousers so beautiful like this. So guys, let's get into the tutorial. So the first thing we're going to be doing is to place our lines like this, your starting line and your side line. So the first thing I'll start with is to take the hip measurement. This trousers, if you notice, is a high-waisted trouser, so I'm taking my hip from where I want my waist to be, and that gave me 9 inches. So always check where you want your waist to start from. That will determine your hip, your body rise, where your hip measurement, your hip is protruding. That is where you take your hip measurement point from. So okay guys, the next thing we're going to be doing is the crotch measurement, that which is very important. To get the crotch, you'll be sitting on the chair just like the picture you have here. Then you take the measurement from where you want your waist to start from to the point of the chair. So what I have for this one, I have 11. So it depends on what style and whom you're measuring, so you have to also consider that, so that your crotch will not be tight. So this is 11 and I've marked 11. Okay, the next thing we're going to be doing is to get a box. Now that box is where we're going to consider our measurements for anything around the butt area. Okay, so first of all, we're going to be taking the measurement from the hip, and my hip divided by 40 is 10, and that is why I got this 10. So marking the 10 all the way on the crotch line, on the hip line, on the waistline. Okay, and that forms the box. Now this line, yes, this box is saying is where our measurement is going to center around for the butt area. So what we're going to be doing is the waist measurement. Okay, if you're making this measurement, make sure your waist is tight. If your waist is not tight, you won't get a fit. That's nice fitting. So I'm going to be working with 8.25. That is your waist divided by 4. Okay, so I'm going to be adding 1 inch dart. That is if you want a dart. If you don't want a dart, you don't bother about that. Now the next thing is to connect that line to my hip line. My hip line is already 10 because the hip is where the measurements there from. So you're connecting it to your hip line. Okay, so the next thing we're going to consider right now is also the crotch area, which is very important. Now we have a crotch line. The next one doing is the crotch curve, and to get the crotch curve, you're going to be dividing your hips by 20. Okay, for the front, which differs from the back. So your hip by 20, and what I actually got is 2, and that is why I'm marking my 2 there. See, you're going to be taking your from that line where that box is, we have our 2. So you can just place your French curve and you get your hip curve. But if you know you don't know how to go straight to it, what you just do is come to the hip area, you place it on that box line and get 1/4 of an inch. Okay, you mark 1/4 of an inch there and you place your curve. This is a guideline so that it won't be too deep and it won't be too out, so you won't have a crotch that is with excess or with shortage. So you place these 2 points and you mark. Okay, now that one now is now your crotch curve, just like the way you have armhole, and that is what happens around that crotch also. So that is your crotch curve. So the next one we're going to be considering is the tie line. Now if you're doing it for a slim person, you come down by 2.5, but if it's someone on the plus size, you go down by 3. Then that is where you take your tie line. Okay guys, so the next one we're going to consider now is the knee line, because this is a high trousers. Okay, you're going to check where you want your knee to be. When you take your measurement to your actual knee, you go up by 1.5. okay, so now my knee is actually 21 and I'm marking it there at 21. So the next thing we're going to consider now is the length of the trousers. My length is 45 and I want to have 2 inches fold allowance. Okay, in fact I had to change my mind to 2.5 because I want that to have allowance for my weaving, to lock the dress. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is to get the green line. That's another guideline. And to get the green line, you place your measurements. You can see the point I'm placing it on the crotch line, just from where that crotch started. So whatever you get, you divide it by 2, and that is where I got 6, and that 6 is what I am placing. Now please, when you are placing, make sure you are placing from the side line, not from the box line. Okay, now I'm going to be marking this 6 all the way down. Okay, so we're going to be taking this 6 all the way to the end of the trouser. Remember, I actually got the 6 by dividing my crotch line where my crotch curve started from, okay, which gave me 12, and that's why I divided by 2 and I got 6. Now we're going to be marking it all the way down. Okay guys, okay, the next thing we're going to be considering now is to place the measurements of the thigh and of the knee line, knee measure circumference. Okay, so after taking your knee circumference, whatever you have, you're going to be dividing it by 4. So my thigh measurement is actually 23.5 thereabouts, so I'm going to be dividing it by 4. At this point, please, I would advise that you add quarter of an inch if you do not want a tight pants, extremely tight, because whatever measurement I'm placing here now is going to be extremely tight. If you do not want your trouser to be extremely tight, you're going to be placing quarter of an inch after every measurement. Okay, so this is the knee. What I took for the knee is 18, and I divided by 2 by 4, and that's why I got 9. So you place 4.5 here, 4.5 here. Okay, that is how to place it. Now, like I said, remember to put quarter of an inch, or else you're going to have a very fitted trousers. Very fitted, I mean. That is what this pattern is going to give you. So this, then whatever I have on my knee, I took it down to my ankle, except you want slimmer. Okay, so I took mine straight down, but if you want yours pencil at the down, take a measurement of your ankle and take that measurement. Okay, so it's going to give you a different shape. So I'll just connect all these lines. Now coming to the seam allowance, we're going to come in out by quarter of an inch. So that means you're going to be placing whatever you have there, add another quarter of an inch. Okay, so that you will, by the time you are folding it after sewing, you will not have a shortage there. So whatever measurements you have on your ankle for the seam allowance, please put quarter of an inch, or else you have issues while turning it over. Okay, so now we're going to go down to we're going to take our measurement from the crotch line. You just place the curve and you take it straight to your knee. At this point, you're going to be disregarding the measurements you have at the thigh. It's not going to be necessary when making this kind of pant. Okay, so you just connect it straight from the knee to the crotch, then you shaping it around that area. Okay guys, so the next thing we're going to be doing, we're going to be placing our darts for the front line. Now remember that this dress is a high-waisted, and I'm going to be removing a 2 inches band. So for that reason, I'm going to be considering my band, which is 2 inches, and after 2 inches I'm not going to take my darts. So the total you'll be having for your darts on this kind of pattern, you're going to be having about 6 inches or 6.5. Okay, but if you don't want a dart, you will ignore this area entirely. Okay, so as usual, you put your half inch left and right, and you take the measurement. So I think this is we're going to stop here for the front, because any alteration we do here might end up affecting the back. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to duplicate the same pattern for the back, so that we can work with it for the back. Then we'll come back after working with the back, we'll come back and finish up with the front, the shaping of the front. So this is the back, and the first thing we're going to do right now is for the crotch of the back. I will advise you be attentive here, because that is what makes up your trousers. So for the back, you're going to come in from the crotch line. We're getting the crotch line for the back. Now we're going to come in by 1 inches using the front line. Okay, now we're going to go up there. Whatever you have there, you divide it by 2, which is going to give you half of it. The half of it, you mark it there. Okay, so what I have is 2. At this point, I'm not going to go up. At that point of 2, I'm going to go upwards. Now the reason why we go upwards is because these are the allowances, the space you create for the bust, so that by the time you sit down, your pants won't be falling down to your bum bum. So now for people slimmer, I'll go by 1.5, but if you're going for somebody more than that, you go above, you go by 2. Okay, now I'm not going to connect it from all the way from my 1.5 points down to where the 1 point sits at the crotch area. Now this is your crotch line for the back. So the next thing we're going to do is to get the crotch curve for the back. Curve for the back, you're going to, first of all, okay, let's just put that 1/4 of an inch, just like we did for the front. You put your 1/4 there to help you, you know. So the next thing we're going to be doing now is that for the back, we're going to be dividing our hip by 4 and by 20. Okay, now if you divide by hips by 20, you're going to be getting, I'm sorry guys, you divide your hips by 10, sorry, and when you divide your hip by 10, you're going to be getting 4. Now you place your 4 from the point there, so that what you have whatever outstanding or whatever left, what becomes your extension. Okay, now you're not connected to that 1/4 of an inch. Place your curve to that 1/4 of an inch to get your curve, just like the way we did for the front. Okay guys, so we're coming back to the back. Now remember that the front, what we had was 8.25 plus our 1 inch. That's right. Now we're going to be duplicating it to the back, because if you don't do that, you're going to have a shortage. Okay, so you're going to be putting your waistline. Now wherever that point stops, you're going to go up by 1/2 of an inch. Okay guys, you mark 1/2 of an inch at that point. Now you're going to make sure your point from here is stopping at your point of the 1/2 of an inch. Okay, the 1/2 of an inch that you went up with, now that is where you're going to be placing your back waistline. Please make sure you check it to confirm that it's in okay, it's exact to your front waistline measurement, or else when sewing you might end up having issues. Now the next thing we're going to be doing is that we're going to get in the hip, just like the way we extended the front. We're going to be returning the same to the hips. Now you check your measurements from here. Your hips divided by 4 is actually 10, right? What I have is 10. From point there, make sure you're getting your 10. Okay, if you do not do that, your hips will be shortened, so you're returning whatever you have taken off, you're returning it back, just like the way we did for the waistline. So we're going to be marking 10 there. We're going to be marking 10 there. Now we're going to be connecting it to your waistline. Okay, please consider these points, they are very necessary. Any little mistake you make here, you might have issues while sewing. So by the time we are doing our sewing video, you will not have issues while following, because it will be very easy. Okay, so we're going to be marking all the way down. Now I'm going to be making 3/4 of an inch. That is what I'm going to be adding. Some people add 0.5, but I would love to add 3/4 of an inch. Now I'm going to explain to you what that means. Okay, these are just the space for your trousers to your butt to sit, just like the way we make skirts. We add butt space for where butt to sit. That's exactly what is happening here at this trouser. We are adding the space where the bum bum will fill in. Okay, so I'm using 3/4 of an inch. Some people can do 1, depends on how large the person. If you are going for somebody large, you can do 1, but for medium size I'm doing 3/4. Then if you're doing for a petite person, you can do 0.5. Okay, so we're going to be marking this all the way down. Then also come to the front where the crotch is. I'm also going to mark that there. All the way down. If you're not using this method, sometimes there are other methods you see they just place the whole 1 inch, or you see them place 2 inch all the way like that. But for this method you're going to be sharing the allowance on both sides, so we're going to be connecting all the lines together. So when you find another method where you just see, they just say okay, place just 1, place just 2, it is because it is not divided by a green line, so don't be confused, okay. But this green line serves as an easy way for you to understand the allocation of all these measurements. So just connect all the lines everywhere. So when you get to the crotch, just go straight to the knee, just like the way we did initially. Just go straight to the, connect it with your slight curve. You know that part of the body is a bit curvy, okay? So you just connect it. So basically we're going to be doing the waistline now. So I'm going to be adding my dart. Now to add the dart, you're going to come in just like the way we have 4 at the front. Now you're going to be doing that for the back. So the back dart is not straight, you can see that's why we're using the crotch line to get the 4 inches measurement. And remember that we have a band of 2 inches, so by the time you add it up, obviously you're going to be considering that also. So you're going to be adding your that line. Okay, then we'll add the 1/2 inch as usual, then you mark it. So I think that is basically for the back. Okay, that is all we'll be doing for the back. Quite easy, right? Okay, so I hope after this day you will not, after watching this video, you won't have issues with making trousers. I think this should be the easiest way to understand it. So guys, I think this is it basically. So what we'll do, we're going to be cutting it out. I've not added any sewing allowance here, so we should just take that note of that. I've not added my sewing allowance yet, so I'll explain to you how to add the sewing before we start doing the sewing proper. So when you watch my video on the sewing, on how I make the transfer this pattern to fabric, then you understand how to add your sewing allowance. Okay guys, this is it for the back. So we're going to go back to the front pattern. Remember we still have our front pattern to do with, so we're going to be putting our, that's 0.5 inches I went up at the back, we're going to be turning it also to the front. That was why I said we can't do it now because it will affect the duplication that we used. So just going to go up, I'm going to connect it to the dart, then we'll come to the crotch of it, come down by 1/2 an inch. Okay, then the next thing you do is to close up your dart line. It's very important you close it up, then you place your ruler on a curve to get a good curve line. So that is why you see trousers at the front of the waist area has a curve line. If you do not see that, that means it is not applied on the dress. Okay, so it's not everybody that likes using it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be doing is to do the pocket. Now to do the pocket, I'm going to be going inward by 6.5 inches, 6 to 6.5, depending on the size of the person. So first of all, we'll go in by 2 inches, where the hand will be passing into. then we'll come down by 6.5. Now remember, there's a band, so the first thing you're going to be doing is to come down by 2 inches, eliminating the band first. Then from the band line, you come down by 6.5. If yours does not have a band or all that, you don't have to, just go down for your 6.5. Okay, so total of it will be having 8.5 because of the band. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to be my pocket, that the pocket, the, how will I call it, the pocket filling, or it's, there are 2 pockets of cotton. Okay, the cover of the pocket is going to stop at the crotch line. Okay, so when we're doing this, so you understand that. So this one now, I'm just going to connect my 6. Now my 6, I'm starting my, for my band, I will just go straight. Okay, the band line will go straight. Why the line, okay, the band line, you can see I'm taking it straight because it shouldn't be affecting the pocket. Then from the band line, I go make a curve and stop at that pocket. Okay, so that will just help me not to cut the wrong pattern. So make a curve, but if you feel you want your pocket space to be wider, you can go straight to your band line. Okay, so I think that is it basically for the front. So what I'm going to be doing is to cut it out. However, you see the whole of that part is your pocket, so both the pocket cover and the pocket slope, everything in pockets are going to be centered around that line. So I think this is it. This is basically what it's all about. So what we need to do is to cut it all out, then talk about the seam allowance. Okay, for the darts, you can see the way I went up there is very important. So by the time you are folding it, no parts will be lost, no seam will be lost or allowance. So by the time you are through, you can trim off the excess, take your curve back and trim off the excess. Okay, so guys, this is the front and this is the back. So all I need to do is to add my seam allowance. So guys, if you've walked up to this point, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, don't forget to like. Okay, so by the side I'll be adding 1 inch, and by the cross side I'll be adding half of an inch. At the upper part you'll be adding half of an inch. So guys, this is it. Please don't forget to like my page and also watch my video popping up, the video of the sewing, so you can see how we sewed, and we are going to be sewing with this pattern. So thank you guys for watching. Bye.